Okay, here we go. So up first, we have Michelle. Michelle R., if you'd go ahead and unmute yourself, please go ahead. Thank you. What's your question for Brian?
Hi, how are you doing? Okay, so my question today is regarding the COVID vaccine. I know you were talking a little bit about vaccination today, and this is like the hot topic. My question regards the new phenomenon that people are seeing, that the vaccine appears to be shedding. We don't know whether it's shedding just the spike protein. Is it shedding RNA molecules? I don't know if anybody knows that yet. That would be a question for you. But in addition to that, from what I've been hearing, people that are exposed to recently vaccinated individuals are having fertility related issues, miscarriages, cycle disruptions. I know somebody who became really, really sick after having her brother-in-law in the house who had just gotten vaccinated. I want you to speak a little bit maybe to that. Is there a way that we can protect ourselves aside from living in a bubble? We try to, avoid people who are recently vaccinated, but we don't even know how long the shedding could happen for. And so I'd like to know if you have any way that people can protect themselves from the shedding and strengthen their own system, and how to react to that.
So thank you for making a commentary, because that was more a commentary than a question. And I concur with everything that you said. Now, in a scientific vein, we haven't had this around long enough to quantify exactly how deep each and every one of these areas are. I can only speak as I only will about my personal experience here with guests who have taken the vaccine. They're the only guest I've seen within 2 weeks to 4 weeks that once again have the symptomology and register that they have the 19 virus. We've never closed, and every guest that comes on campus, we test them before they come into the program. Today, we're filled here at Hippocrates. People coming in from all over the world. Everyone will be tested. They'll be tested, spot tested, and also tested weekly when they're here. In the last few months, the only ones we've seen that register with the virus are people who have been vaccinated. Here in Palm Beach County, Florida, they suppressed the information about 2 weeks ago, where they had discovered 170 cases where people manifested the virus after contracting it. Now, this should not surprise anyone, because if you have legitimate allopathic physicians, after they give you a vaccine, they're going to tell you that. Just like legitimate oncologists are going to tell people who've taken chemo and radiation not to be around their loved ones and not to sleep in the close proximity. So the same advice they're giving you, I would give you. I think that neuroses is the greatest killer on the planet Earth. So don't get neurotic about these things. You listen closely and read the literature. I read the science. None of these vaccine companies are promising this is going to prevent. And this is why they keep luring people and saying there's this strain and that strain and that strain. So they have an excuse when you get the vaccine and end up with the virus in it. So listen closely, read what they're saying. So you have to make a choice out there. I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do. Either you're going to vaccinate yourself and the loved ones or not. I've chosen not to. I think it's an unwise thing to vaccinate with vaccines that haven't been studied scientifically since the 1980s, over 40 years ago. I think it's really unwise to take a vaccine that took 7 months to be thrown together versus the general 7 years, even more unwise than taking vaccines that haven't been researched. And if you look at the CDC and the FDA, they're telling you that none of these vaccines, the very first one that they're injecting into you now, will not be approved until 2023. That's another fact. So any of you that think the FDA approved these, get on the internet. They make it hard for you, but get on the internet, read it, and they're going to tell you in writing, this is in line now to be approved by 2023. It's an emergency release that we put these things out. So I hope that helped you in some way, but everything you said, I've been getting calls from New York where I'm going to be lecturing next month, and they're telling me that the pregnancy, they're aborting fetuses, and how connected it is, I can't tell you that. It's going to take some time to accrue that data, how bad and how much of this is happening in different case scenarios.